Question and answer time. Last week, I talked a lot about my tiny house experience and so forth. So, naturally, I got a lot of questions about Tiny House Nation. So I'm going to go over some of those questions today. First question is, what initially drew you to participate in Tiny House Nation? Well, like I said last week, I thought it was really stupid. But it was really stupid because of how the TV shows presented it. It wasn't because of like, oh, those people are stupid. It's because of how the TV shows kind of showed this thing. They always cast like these big ass families, and they're gonna cram them into this, 150 square foot little shit box. And, they were really cool houses, but was it practical? No, but it got good TV ratings. But then once I got involved with the show and whatnot, I was like, you know what? I can get down with this. Because I was always into anything cool with wheels, right? So like when it came to restoring old motorcycles, cars, all that kind of stuff. Plus I was in construction, so it all kind of came together. Can you share a memorable behind the scenes moment from your time on the show? Yeah, let's think. Well, one time, one of the members of the crew had a Play-Doh mold. It was like a little plastic mold. And he would take it outside and pack it full of mud. And then, it was a plastic mold of a piece of poo. So he'd pack it full of mud, and it'd have grass and weird things coming out of it. And then he'd set that on a toilet seat. And that was kind of like his calling card. So at the end of like every episode, and we'd finish shooting, and like that would be a wrap. And they'd go back on the road. You'd come in one of the bathrooms in our shop, and you would see this turd on the toilet, and you knew that Josh was there. So that was a fun laugh. What was the most challenging aspect of building a tiny house on the show? So originally the show, they really wanted the whole build done like in the 7 days that they came out to shoot it. So the first episode, I remember, like, we could only have the framing done. And, that sucked. Because that was, you still had to pack all of the build time hours that it took to actually build the house into a week as opposed to like a month. So there were, I think the first episode, the longest I went without sleep was 36 hours. So it was like start at 7 in the morning and then go all the way through the next day and finally like crash at like 3 or something in the afternoon. I don't know. It was, no, like 7 o'clock. I don't know. The whole time was like a really big blur to me. And, but that was probably the most challenging thing is, you're working with saws and nail guns and you're climbing on ladders and you're sleep deprived and you're stressed and everybody's running around like assholes, and everyone's crabby at the end too. So it's like, I think really the hardest thing now that I think about it, as I'm thinking about this right now, is the hardest thing was not to get into arguments with people because everyone was so short-tempered, running on Red Bull, cigarettes, alcohol. It was like anything, like they would get you anything. Like the staff, especially the PAs, the personal assistants that were supposed to be runners and getting things for the show, like they were instructed to like get whatever it was that we needed to stay awake. So if it was like 5-hour energies, Red Bulls, like anything they could get from the store, like they would just have like cases of that stuff. And you weren't allowed to go out and get food or anything because they wanted you on set and they wanted you to keep on building, and it was like this very meat grinder, stressful circumstance, and so that was hard, really hard. How did the show's hosts influence your approach to tiny house living or building? John and Zach were very not controlling at all. In fact, Zach had like it was basically like an underlying agreement between him and all the builders on the show, and that was, I'm going to have my projects. You're going to let me put my projects in this house. Other than that, do what you do best, because all I want to do is focus on these projects. And he would stay up. He would be just like working in the shop, just like banging shit out till 2, 3 in the morning every night. And he was more of a night owl. So like he would show up, sunglasses on, tool belt over the shoulder at like, I don't know, 11 o'clock, and he would be ready to shoot. And one thing about filming with Zach was he took it very serious, but the thing I admire most is that experience and seriousness translated into him wanting to teach other people how to be good on camera, because he knew that if other people were good on camera, he would look good on camera, the show would look good on camera, and we would have a good product. And so learning from his experience and watching him teach other people that had zero camera experience was such a humbling thing to watch. And so I admire him a lot for that. What else? Were there any unexpected benefits or drawbacks to creating a tiny house under the constraints of a TV production schedule? Yeah, I kind of went over that. I'd say one of the things that it took the longest to get over, like really get over yourself, Bob, kind of moment, was when I would have to fake like faucets and stuff like that. You know, you would put the countertops in, set the sink, set the faucet. Nothing was actually hooked up, and it was all staged. And that shit used to piss me off because it took twice as long than at the end of it to kind of put everything together. And then you had to make these punch lists because, you know, you'd have stuff staged and you would forget like what was staged and what was actually like affixed. What advice would you give to future participants of the show? Well, the show's no longer on, so I don't really have any direct advice of how to get back on the show, because the show really, it's not on anymore. It's just syndicated, so it's just reruns. But here's what I would say to anybody getting involved in reality TV. Stand your ground. Like 100% stand your ground. TV production companies are in the business of making money. They're producing a product. You are part of the product. And if you don't think you're part of the product, you're in the wrong business. You are 100% part of the product. So here's what I'm going to say to this. Don't let anybody bully you or think that this is your shot at stardom. If you think those things, you will get used. You will sign contracts that you had no idea what was in them. And it'll be a miserable experience. But if you go into it as, I'm the talent, I don't like this contract, I'd like to change these things, and stand your ground there. I don't like not getting paid, because a lot of times you don't get paid. They'll hustle you into saying, well, you're getting all this exposure. You're getting all this exposure. We got credibility, and I knew how to leverage that credibility when it came to selling jobs and stuff like that, because it does go a long way. But if you think that the phone is going to start blowing off the hook like I did when I did the show, forget it. Like, that's not even a thing. Not even a thing. So, okay. Oh, this is my favorite. How did friends and family react to seeing your tiny house projects on television? Well, fuck the product. How about me seeing me on TV? That was an awesome thing. And you know, I was the type of kid who didn't get good grades in school, least likely to succeed kind of guy. And so to know that all those bullies and all of those people that didn't think that I would amount to much, it was an awesome feeling. Even if it was just inside at first and you're just kind of like one of those moments where you're like, well, you know, I wonder if they're going to see it or not. I wonder if they're going to actually see me on TV. And then you start getting calls from like your mom, and she's saying, hey, so-and-so said they saw you on TV. And then you're starting to get, you're running into random people in the store who are like, hey, I just saw you on TV, and you don't have any idea who this person is. They have no, like, it's a surreal feeling. Like, I've got videos, I think they're on my Instagram. These are years ago. But I was in traffic in like Kentucky, and these two girls were like, that's you from Tiny House Nation. I live in Chicago. I was 1,000 miles away, and we were stuck in traffic, and these two girls called me out on the road. And I'm going to find that footage, and we're going to, in fact, I know I'm going to find that footage. So right now, roll the footage.
The TV show?
Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
You're lying!
No.
That's a lie! You were not on the TV show!
Yeah. Okay. I told you. Looking back, is there anything you would have done differently during your project on Tiny House Nation? No. Nope. Because I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now in life, and I don't have any regrets. It was an experience. It was my experience, and it was the right experience. And that's all I can say about that. And I just encourage anybody, when they find themselves in an uncomfortable situation, to remind themselves that they're exactly where they need to be. Period. That's it. You're exactly where you need to be. And when things get really challenging, that's when we are going to remember the most. And that's why people, I think, wrap it up as trauma. But in reality, in my reality, those difficult situations are the times where I'm so grateful that they're a little traumatizing, because I'm going to remember what I went through, and I'm going to be able to help somebody with whatever experience I might have. So hopefully you learned something today. Learn a little bit more about me. I'm really enjoying doing these Throwback Thursday kind of question and answer sessions, and we're going to keep it going strong. Please, so I don't run out of questions to answer, leave your questions in the comments sections of these videos so that I have content to talk about. Because it makes no sense to answer my own questions and storytell about shit that I think matters. But maybe you have something that you want to know, and I don't care how personal it is. Let's get crazy with it. But I want to answer your questions. So until next week, see ya.